morning. Welcome to class. Welcome to practice. My name is Urain. I'm here to guide you through practice for today. I hope you guys are well fed, well rested. Let me know where you're practicing from. I have here two blocks with me today as props. I'll show you how you can use them later in your practice, but feel free to grab any sub for this, maybe thick books, maybe like pillows or bolsters that you have there with you. Just put them on the side so later you can use them. If you don't have any props at all, perfectly fine. I'll show you also some options without anything at all. So again, welcome to class. My name is Urain. If this is your first time to do a yoga class ever, it's perfectly fine. You can go and still do this practice. I'll show you some of the poses now and how you can do them, with or without your mats or with or without your props. If you have been practicing with me for all of the classes here in gentle stretching, welcome back. Let's go and start your practice today. So for today, our theme is gentle exercises for lower back strength. I'm pretty sure some of the practices already here allow you some mobility, some strength also, not just in the lower back, but all of your body. This one, we're going to target lower back strength. Exactly, because it's almost always been a relief, and we want to make sure that even without targeting the relief of pain, because it's already there, we want to make sure that we're strong enough so that we don't go at that part. All right, so in this practice today, I'm going to show you some poses. It's not going to be like a full class wherein you're going to do this at a specific time, but it's really more of like instructing you on how you do the poses safely, and so that you can reap the full benefits of it. If anything, it would be if you want to do this poses or if you want to do this practice again, feel free to just go back to this video and take a pause in some of the poses that we do and stay there as long as you want. We usually try to stay here for like just 5 rounds of a breath, but if you want to go and do more, you have an option to do that as well, just to make sure that you're more aware of how your breathing is and how it somehow is supporting you with the poses that we do. All right, so when we want to meet with the pose instead of meeting, we want to meet with the purpose of the pose instead. All right, so whenever you're ready, let's go and start. We usually start with a quick meditation and breath work. If you're here with me, sitting down on the mat, feel free to go at the middle. Open the thighs and the glutes out wide in your sukhasana or your easy sitting pose like this. You want a pillow or a block under your bum if you want to feel more aligned, or if you feel like sitting down on the floor, it's just not working out for you today. So just go ahead and find your hands on your knees, maybe hands on the belly and the heart, or hands in prayer to your Anjali, backs of your thumbs here on the heart center, and notice where you want to gaze. You have an option to gaze forward, find one focal point in front of you, something that's not moving, or soften the eyes, soften all of your face, and slowly look down, maybe on top of your mat or just in front of you. Or if you feel safe or you're practicing right now, feel free to close the eyes and just notice how you breathe. So breathing in and breathing out allows you to somehow gather all of yourself in all the 4 corners of your mat. That means you are invited to be here in your present moment. I know a lot of us mostly just somehow subconsciously or unconsciously gaze in the past or looking forward ahead in the future so much that we tend to not be in the present moment, and we tend to not enjoy what we're doing, especially in the mundane things like sitting down like this, or maybe brushing your teeth or taking a bath. Most often than not, our minds are already beyond on what we're supposed to do, or too much in the past that we're anxious about what happened or what we did or what has been done. So in this practice today, invite yourself to be in the moment, to be in the now. All of your body, gather yourself, your mind, your heart, to be here in the 4 corners of your mat, because for today, for the rest of the few minutes that we have, you're just going to take care of yourself, all of your body, all of your mind, and all of your heart, because you deserve to be 100% in the most important thing of all, which is taking care of yourself, isn't it? So breathing in and breathing out, let our intention be, I intend to feel present. I intend to feel present. If you have any other intentions, feel free to do that. Maybe I intend to feel enough. I intend to feel worthy. I intend to feel complete. I intend to feel. Even that alone is a message, an intention. Soften the gaze or soften the shoulders, soften the face. Allow the hips to really relax or melt down into the mat. And just again, notice how you breathe. Breathing in and breathing out through the nose and out through the nose, or through the nose or through the mouth. Notice the thoughts and the feelings that may arrive in all of the minutes that we have together, knowing that you can acknowledge them one by one without labeling them as good or bad or right or wrong. That you're not going to manipulate or fix or manipulate them. Just let them be as they are, just thoughts, just feelings in there. So you can arrive more in the full honesty of your present moment. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, let it go. One more round, let's do that. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth, side out. One last round, big inhale through the nose up until we can't fill in all of your lungs, tap into the bottoms of it. And then exhale out through the mouth, let it go. Again, calling to all of yourselves to be here in your present moment. Once you're ready, come back to the physical body for now. Begin to open the eyes if your eyes were closed. Maybe gentle shakes of the fingers and the toes so that you can wake up your physical body if that was somehow gave you a little bit of a dozing off. And then let's go and start your practice. So again, welcome to class. I have my blocks and my props here with me. Feel free to grab yours right now. I'm going to show you how you can do that. So with regards to your lower back strength, right now, we're not going to target not just the lower back, but of course, all of your core. That means here, and all of your posterior chain. All right, so those enough are the things, or the muscle groups are the ones that are enough for us to have strength, so that we don't have what we need for our lower back. If we're dealing with pain or we need relief, we need to make sure that we have strength, so that we don't do that. Or so that we can somehow not go into that part, because we're always relieving. All right, so let's go and start. We're going to start with your child's pose. If this is your first time to do a child's pose, I'm going to guide you through it. So I like to start with my child's pose in my tabletop. So if this is your first time to do a tabletop, shoulders stack on your wrist, open the fingers out wide. Hips here will stack onto the knees. Knees here either hip width distance apart or a little bit wider if you want a little bit more heart opening as we descend down. Big toes will touch. Allow the hips to settle into your heels as you reach your hearts down, reaching your fingertips forward to the top of your mat, super, super long. And then once you feel that opening on the side body, just when you fold the forehead down. So this is your normal child's pose. You can even drop all of your shoulders down or all of your arms here. Now, if you have your props with you and you feel like this is not a resting pose, a resting place, this is where the props come in. Grab a pillow or maybe your block like this. Find one for a seat here. I like to put mine in the middle of my ankle so that I can sit down. Maybe go to the lowest setting or go to the middle one if you want. Grab a block or two if you need that. Can go as high as you want. If you have a pillow with you or a blanket, you can place it here on your inner thighs in the middle of it, and then you can gently just fold it in like that. All right, so much happening there. Another option for the heart opener here is that you can also find another block or a bolster if you have that and place it here in front of the chest, in front of the head, and then gently just fold down like that. Yeah, you can also get one block and place it on the forehead if you feel like you need that. So we're just gonna stay here for a couple of breaths. In your child's pose, what you want to feel is this opening in the heart and the shoulders. It's like allowing your armpits to melt down into the mat so your shoulders can relax, fully lengthening the fingertips towards the tops of your mat so you can feel this heavy stretch on the side bodies. And of course, allowing your hips to really melt down onto your heels. You're going to feel this slight stretch on your lower back. You can close your eyes here for a few moments, breathing in and breathing out in equal amounts. Seal the lips shut so you can breathe in through the nose and through the mouth. Maybe find your ujjayi breath. If this is your first time to encounter what ujjayi means or what ujjayi breathing is, it's really more of finding the breath into the back of the throat. So whenever you take your inhale and your exhale in your ujjayi breath, imagine that you're fogging an eyeglass. That when you inhale and you exhale, you need to make sure that you're fogging the eyeglass. So it has that intention of allowing the breath to go super, super whole, that when it travels through the throat, it constricts it. And you can somehow notice the sound of the ocean as you take your inhale and your exhale. So see if you can try that here in your child's pose. Last few moments of breathing here. Soften the face again. Make some space between the roof of your mouth and your tongue and clench the jaw. Sink a little bit more in the heart towards the mouth. Last two. Last one. And on your exhale, let's slowly release. Looking forward here, and then as you release, you're just gonna go back to your tabletop, like so. If your knees were wide, take them a little bit in between or hip width distance apart. Come back to the tabletop. If you want to relieve anything here, you can go and swing the hips side to side. There you go. Allowing some moments of breath here. You can take a seat here so that we can go into our next pose. Our next one is our tabletop cat and cow. So as you can, if you have been doing yoga practice, a yoga class before, you can find your cat and cow either through a seat onto a tabletop. Sometimes people do it in a stand as well. It's really more of allowing the heart to open, the shoulder tips to gently pull to the sides, shoulder blades coming in and out, protraction and retraction of the shoulders, and allowing the belly to constrict and to release. And the last one would be the hips, the anterior pelvic tilt and the posterior pelvic tilt. So in your cat and cow today, we're going to work more on visualizing a spinal wave. So we're going to start from the tailbone towards the crown of your head. So when we do your cow, we're going to start from your tailbone as it points to the sky and your belly drops down. We're going to go and do a curve like that. And when you do a cow, we're going to start from the tailbone again. So as you do your pelvic tilt towards the opposite side, your belly comes up and you're constricting it. Yeah, you're going to use your hands and your knees, the tops of your feet and your shins to push you away from the ground. So let's go and try that together. Whenever you're ready, come into your tabletop. So if this is your first time to do a tabletop and you feel like your mats are somehow thin for today, you can find your hand onto the edge of the mat and pull it towards the center here. Double it good. Find your joints like that. Yeah? Because sometimes you can see your yoga teachers do it like this. This is fine. This is somehow also good. But what I want you to take notice is that how you get out of this pose, and that means you need to hustle your way towards the center. So when you do this one instead, when you take it off, it goes off back on itself. So one quick trick. All right, doesn't have to do anything with the lower back strength. All right, so let's go do your cat and cow. Whenever you're ready, shoulders stack on your wrist. This is the most important part of all in your cat and cow. Shoulders will stack on your wrist and the hips will stack onto the knees. Nothing too far forward or lazy out the back. So finding your spinal waves here. Whenever you're ready, on your inhale, find a cow. So from the tailbone, you can look at me first if you haven't done this before. Tailbone will come up, allowing the inner thighs to open to the outside, to the back of the mat. Belly drops down, relax the core. You're gonna tug the heart forward. Notice that the shoulder blades are somehow rooting at each other at the back. You're gonna open your heart, maybe swing a little bit more forward. Notice some weight on your fingertips and the palms of your hand. Now you have an option to just gaze down or gaze forward or gaze a little bit above the horizon. You can also feel the opening at the back of the neck. Yes, and then whenever you do your cat, you're gonna take an exhale from the tailbone again. So tuck the tailbone, outer hips coming in. You're gonna go and notice the activation on your lower belly as the belly button comes up. Ribs are gonna come in, chin will go to the chest. You're gonna use your hands to press the ground away so you can widen the shoulder blades to the side like that. Chin will come to check. Your gaze will be at your knees, maybe on the inner thighs, or maybe at your belly button if you have that. You can go and push with your hands to somehow ripple a little bit to the back if you need more. Yeah, let's do this together. On your next inhale, let's do your cow. Tailbone will point up, belly will drop down. Open the heart forward, shoulder blades come together, gaze a little bit above the horizon. Exhale, round the back to your cat. Tuck the tailbone again. Notice or visualize the spinal wave that we're dreaming of. Imagine the breath traveling from the tailbone towards the crown of your head as you do your cow. And then as you do your cat, notice or visualize how it will travel back towards the tailbone. Let's do that one last round. Inhale to your cow, tailbone up, belly down, heart opens forward, gaze forward a little bit above, and then exhale, round the back to your cat. Notice how you can press all of your hands, your finger pads and your knuckle pads. You can really widen the shoulder blades to the sides. Once you're ready, come back center, swing the hips side to side. Very nice. So that is your cat and cow. If you feel like you want to do that while sitting down, you can go and find your sukhasana or like this, the virasana. Take your hands here on your knees or maybe just to the side, or roll the shoulders down and back and then open your heart as you inhale, gaze up, and then exhale around the back to your cat. Yeah, something like that. So it's really more of undulating the spine here, making sure that you're mobile enough so that you can do all of the strength workouts that we're doing. How are you so far? If you feel like you need or you want to do that anytime at all, if you want to go and do that a little bit longer, feel free to do so. So whenever you're ready, let's go and do some more. So coming into your prone pose, I'm going to go and do it here on your mat. Heart, hip, belly, all the way down into the mat here. Take your hands down. Elbows here parallel onto the hands. And then you want to take your feet a little bit wider here. So wider than the hips. Tops of your feet down into the mat. Pinky toes down as well. So this is your Sphinx pose. But we want to make it super engaged or super active. How? By making sure that we are activating all of our body. So we're going to do your lower body first. So with your lower body, we want to activate your hamstrings and your glutes. How do we do that? Press the tops of your feet, lift the knees, engage into the quads, and then slowly lift the kneecaps so much. So making sure that you're pressing onto the tops of your feet, pinky toes down. You want to feel that your hamstrings are so strong, your glutes are so active here, that when you take your hands here at the outside of your chest, you turn them out a little. There's not much pressing onto the hands because all of your legs are active and it's doing the job. You notice how the back bend here is not as hard as if it's inactive. So try doing it without activating at all and try to do maybe like a low cobra like this. You can feel that you're somehow dumping on the lower back. Yeah, and even if you do a little bit higher there and your legs are inactive, you can feel it so much on the lower back. So you want to make sure that your legs are active when you do so. Again, press the tops of your feet, pinky toes, press down into the mat. That's the most important part. It's not just the first and the big toe, first and the second big toe. It's also up until the pinky toes. Clench the glutes, the quads here so you can activate the hamstrings. Notice that the knees are already out of the mat. Everything is engaged on the legs. Now I want you to take your elbows come a little bit closer together than the shoulders. So it's more narrow than the shoulders. And then your hands are going to splay out onto the side. Open the fingers out wide. And I want you to somehow grab the elbows, tug it towards the hips or towards the belly button. Shoulders are gently going to the outside. Shoulder blades coming in, squeezing tight to each other as you open the heart. Now this is how we want to do our active Sphinx pose. We're just going to stay here for a bar. Use the pubic bone, the hips to press down into the mat. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Release the activation on the legs. Release the elbows. You can bend the knees here, flex the feet, and swing side to side. So that is how we want to do all of our back bends and our yoga poses. So as you can see in our social media pages or on Instagram, actually, if you even just search yoga, you can see a lot of yoga poses, especially with back bends. This is something that we need to note, that we need to be able to activate the right muscle groups, the right activation in all of your legs and all of your core to be able to do the back bend in its full benefit. Some people, they're, let's say, blessed with the right amount of flexibility to just go and do the poses in yoga, and that's fine, and that's awesome. But in our practice, we want to make sure that we activate all of the muscles so that we don't go into the bad part of yoga, which is the pain after the poses. So you need to make sure you're activating the right muscle groups so that we can find the full benefit of the pose instead of reaching the pose. So you need to make sure you're reaching the purpose of the pose instead of reaching what the pose looks like. Yeah, so take note. That is what we want to do in all of our back bends. Glutes engaged, core is strong. Everything on the legs is activated when you do your Sphinx pose. All right, so the next one we're going to do, super easy. We're going to go and find your plank. If this is the first time that you are doing your planks, I'm going to show you how to do them. You can also do a forearm plank, somewhat like the same idea or the foundation. So finding ourselves on our tabletop, take your hands here, shoulder distance apart, and then slowly, we're going to take one leg towards the back. Now you can look at the big toe there at the back, making sure it's aligned with the hip. It's nothing too far near at the center, a little bit wide. Sometimes people like it wide in the plank. You can do that also. I would like to put it here aligned with my hip so that I want to make sure that I am in balance with my weight. So the left foot has the same weight as what I'm going to put in my right foot. So press with all of my hands. I want to contract my shoulders here so that I can press my elbows or the eyes of my elbows together, firming it all in. Shoulder blades widen to the side, protract the shoulder blades. My gaze is in between the hands, the thumbs. It can come a little bit more forward also. And then I'm going to go and extend my feet like that. So somehow it's a straight line from my shoulders towards my heels. Notice my heels, that it's in alignment with the balls of my feet. Nothing too far back like this, or nothing too far forward like a planche. Everything is here, and there's a slight tuck on the tailbone as you engage your core. There. So press on all of your hands, core is strong, gaze down or gaze forward. Now, if you want to find a little bit more challenge here, or know the right amount of activation in all of your core here, what I usually tell my students is that you can find a block or a balloon or something there, wherever you're practicing, place it here in the middle of your inner thighs. And sometimes if you don't have a prop, you can just imagine that you have a block in the middle of your thighs that you don't want it to fall off. So that's the kind of activation that we want. Lower belly is activated. Everything on my legs is activated. My quads are strong. I'm firming my inner thighs in, and I'm pressing my hands to the ground. So let's try that with a block. Take your hands down again. You want to open the fingers out wide. Grip on all of your fingertips here. Again, tuck the toes like that. Firming in. And of course, your feet is somehow a little bit aligned at the center, and that's fine. You need to make sure that you're firming your inner thighs, that the block doesn't fall off. Again, slight tuck on the tailbone. Core engaged, the lower belly is strong, ribs side in. Stay for 5, soften the face. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Knees at the same time, grounding down, and then relax. Release the block if you use that with me. And there you go. So relax, shake, 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 making sure nothing is painful. If that was too much on the wrist, take your hands, clasp it in, swing it like so. Or hands together, open the palms to the face, or roll it forward and down and around like that. So making sure nothing is painful, like so. All right. So we're going to do one more round. We're going to do the thread and needle. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in front. So coming into your tabletop like this, opening the fingers out wide. I'm going to shift my weight to one hand. This time it's my right. The left hand will reach towards the sky. And it's just going to thread towards the opposite side. So threading as far as you want, as deep as you can. And then you're going to land the left shoulder down. The temple will ground down as well. Right hand will be here in front of the face. And then you have an option to extend that hand to the back, to the sky. Or you're going to go and find a bag on the opposite thigh. And there you go. So we're going to open your heart. Peel that shoulder open. If you feel like your booty swooshing to that side, plug it onto the other side. So you want to feel really that twist. It's not, again, meeting the pose. It's meeting the purpose of the pose. And you want to twist here. So opening up. Soften the face. Relax the shoulders. Staying in for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Release the hand. Coming back to the center. Maybe a counter stretch. Left hand will come up. And then release. Shake, shake, shake. Doing everything on the opposite side. So again, land the hands here, shoulder distance apart. Now you're going to shift your weight towards the left hand. Your right hand will reach up high. And then thread it towards the opposite side. So again, doesn't have to be super deep. You can just stay whatever feels good for you, making sure there's equal amount of weight on your knees. Looking at the left side this time. Option to gaze up, reach that left hand to the sky. Peel that left shoulder open. Left hand will grab onto the hip or to the inner opposite thigh if you have that today. Peel that left shoulder open. Tooch the booty towards the opposite side. Soften the face. Feel free to close the eyes. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Release the hand, plug it back down, counter stretch, and then release. Relax here. Swing the hips side to side if you think that you need that. Making sure nothing is painful. Very nice. Once you're here, come back to the center, making sure nothing is painful again. Clasp it to the hand, swing it around. Okay. So the last pose that we're gonna do, you have an option to find a block. So I'm just gonna put them on the side like this, up into the highest setting. Because some people, this might be the first time to do a hip opening. You can do that as well. If this is nothing for you, don't use your blocks. That's okay. So I'm gonna go into my tabletop first, like this. But I actually like doing this from your downward facing dog. So I'm gonna do that. Tuck the tailbone, take your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then slowly, I'm just gonna step one foot towards the middle of my hand. So this time it's my right foot. Coming into the middle of the hands, bend the left knee. If it doesn't quite go there, making sure that you shimmy it well. Right knee is in line with the right ankle. All right, so take your hands towards the block and then notice your left knee. If you feel that your hips can go a little bit more open here, you can go and take your left knee a little bit to the back and then from the inner thighs and then press your hips forward and down, like so. There, I'm gonna take my camera a little bit farther so you can see all of my upper body. I'm gonna do something a little bit more than usual. So some people, they, especially if you're flexible, it's easy to do an anjanyasana or a low lunge like what we're doing right now, like this. So some people, if you're flexible, you can just go here. So easy. right? So that's not what you want. You want to make sure you can take your hands onto the blocks or take your hands onto the inner thighs, or take one hand into the lower belly, another to the back like this. So notice the tilt on the pelvis. So when you're here, if you're flexible and you're not active, you tend to just you want to touch your booty outside and then take your hips forward and down. In this activation, instead, number one, firm the inner thighs together. If you feel like the front knee is splaying to the side, plug it in. Firm the inner thighs. You can already feel that the glutes are clenching here. And then notice how your pelvis is. So if your hands are here on the belly and the lower back, you want to tuck the tailbone. If the tailbone is touching to the back, tuck it down like this. You're going to feel this opening at the front left hip already. Yeah, firm the inner thighs in. And with that tucking of the tailbone, that's when you go forward and down. Now you see that you can't go really, really far here. Yeah, so that is what you want to target, the opening in the front hip. Release your hands maybe to the blocks like that. Go a little bit more forward if you can. So that is what you want to do here, and nothing as glorious as like really going down. That's not what we want to go. Use your core to notice how you can go forward and down here. So inhale, lengthen to the crown of your head. Exhale, engage the core. Very nice. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, engage the core. There you go. As you go forward and down, surrender every time you exhale. Take your hands on your quads, on the block, or take your hands up and overhead up to you. Yeah? Breathing in for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Release the right knee. Take your hands down. Let's go back to a downward facing dog. Doing everything on the opposite side. This time it's my left foot forward in the middle of the hands, right knee will ground down. So knowing that one side is so much different from the other, see which one is more tight or see which one is more open. You can go and tuck the right knee a little bit farther if you have that today. Hands onto the blocks or onto your quads like that. And again, go back, take your weight onto the back knee, hands onto the hips, tuck the tailbone. Use your glutes to firm everything here on the midline. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Core engaged, your lower belly activated. Tuck the tailbone and then take it forward and down. That's it. Take your hands wherever it feels good so you can find your balance if you don't have that yet. Firming and notice this opening on the front right hip. Relax the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen the crown of your head up to your skies. Exhale, core engage. One more, breathing in. Exhale, engage the core. Last 2. Last 1. And then slowly let it go. So come back, down facing dog, or come back to your child's pose. Again, knees hip width distance or a little bit wider, hips descend onto the heels, reach your hands forward and fold all the way down into the mat. Begin to close the eyes and somehow reap into the full benefits of that opening of the hips and that strengthen the core. In for 4. 3. 2. Last 1. And then let's slowly release. Open your eyes. Come back to your present moment. And there you go. So let's close off your practice here with a quick breath work. So finding yourself on a seat again, Sukhasana, open the thighs and the glutes out wide, or take your bum into the pillow or into a block, and then take your hands on your knees like this. Roll the shoulders towards the ears as you inhale. Take it back and then take it down as you exhale. Gazing forward again or gazing down. Allow the face to soften, or feel free to close the eyes here and just navigate your mind into all of the sensations in the body right now. Again, the feeling that you have right now compared to the feeling that you had before you step into the mat. I like to tell my students every time when we close the practice is that the person that is stepping out of the practice or stepping out of the mat is different from the person coming in. So allow yourself to let go of the person that was and welcome yourself into receiving the person coming out of the practice, a different person than who you were. Take one hand to the heart, another on top of it. Bow down as if gazing into your own heart, finding gratitude in your practice today, finding gratitude in your amazing body for showing up today in its full glory, in its 100%, not in the past, not in the future, just here in the now. I honor your life, I honor your truth, I honor your love, I honor your peace, I honor your beauty, everything that is within you. Namaste. Open your eyes and welcome yourself back to your present moment. And there we go. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Again, if this is your first time or if you missed the practice, feel free to go back into this video. Come into the poses one by one. Notice how it's been broken down and stay there for a while longer if you feel like you need it. Maybe like around 8 or even 10 cycles of the breath. Knowing that whenever you inhale, you expand more, and whenever you exhale, you can go and use that space to go deeper into the pose. Always practice with precaution all the time. And if you have any questions with regards to the poses and with regards to the whole flow, or even the meditation one or the breath work, feel free to comment down below so that we can answer them one by one. Thank you so much, everyone.